Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 3 in a best of 3 series between TSL's Polt versus Mouse Sports' Mana here on Shakura's Plateau. Polt spawning on the top right hand side of the map as the blue Terran, meanwhile Mana spawning as the top in the top left hand side of the map as the green Protoss. So this will be Protoss versus Terran here on Shakura's Plateau. I guess this is close by air spawns technically, as it is perhaps pretty much the same walking distance, but much closer in terms of any airplay. We'll see what will come down, whether or not Polt or Mana will utilize that very effective air harassment. Phoenixes, Banshees, both are very viable units in a Terran versus Protoss matchup. But so far we've seen Polt open up with a very similar build in each of the games so far. He's gone in for that first barracks, gone for the refinery, and then delayed his second supply depot, allowing him to build a barracks and get an add-on a tech lab, and also add on a reactor. With that, he's been able to place down some early aggression against Mana, at least in Game 1. But in Game 2, because of the ramp at the natural expansion, it was much more difficult to charge up there, and there is also a ramp here at the natural expansion. So this will be one of those instances where I want to see if Polt does try to change things up. So far, we do see the 13 refinery coming in. We also see the gateway coming in for Mana, as he is going into the assimilator as well. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary, as a probe now going to come in for some harassment. Harassing that SCV as it's just trying to do its job. The job of every probe is to annoy an SCV, at least until a Marine is there. And now that probe taking a little bit of actual damage and now attempting to run away. Down to 15 hit points. The probe is just going to continue to wander around. You'll most likely see a Marine be trained by Polt and then have it followed up with a reactor and a second barracks. We'll see if Mana is able to actually keep track of the second barracks, or if... yeah, we'll see if Mana is able to keep track if a second barracks is placed down, as the probe now still wandering around again. We can see that a gateway is up. Cybernetics Core now warping in. No Zealot as of yet. The Marine chasing after the probe, but the probe looks like it wanted to try to sneak back in. It is not going to be able to do so, as a reactor is being built. But there is no barracks. So an interesting strategy this time, that Polt is going for that early reactor but not going for a barracks, as he is going now into a second refinery. So a very early second refinery. Not exactly sure what's going to come of this, as I can't imagine what Terran players need a reactor for and also want to gas for, at least early on in the game. SCV now wandering around behind the mineral lines. Polt is behind in terms of harvester count, 22 to 18. Third supply depot being added on that front door to finish off this wall-in attempt, as Marines are being added. Now what we may see is a lot of Marines be trained, and then perhaps after the factory is done, build a starport and double train medevacs, and also get a lot of Hellions. Hellions and Marines with medevac support can deal some damage and sometimes be effective. There you see, there's that starport. No other add-on being added here. We'll see what Polt tries to do, as we now see a tech lab being added. So I don't know if that is for siege tanks or if that is going to be a swap and then go into double Marine play. So far, Mana learning the lesson from Game 1. Don't be overly aggressive in your expansions, as Polt does like to apply early pressure. 7 Marines on the front door should be enough to handle any amount of gateway units right now, as there's only 1 operational gateway, but 2 more gateways should be completed in just a second, as we now see a sentry and a stalker waiting for something to come over that ridge. Cloaking research, and now a Banshee being added. So this is going to be cloaked Banshees now with a whole bunch of mass Marines. Perhaps the Marines going to deal a lot of damage, push back the probes, and also be able to give sight up onto the high ground. This is bad news for Mana, as Mana does not yet have a robotics facility. He does not have a factory. He does not have a forge, and with that, he's not going to be able to spot the Banshee at all. The Banshee with cloak going to go to town on all of these units here, and I believe Mana who got that early robotics facility in the other games, now going to get it. It is already at, what, 65 seconds until it's completed, 55 seconds. Cloaking field will be done in time. We are now going into a Raven. So Polt investing in one Banshee early and then going into a Raven. So this one Banshee essentially costs 350 minerals, 300 gas, and it needs to deal a lot of damage in order for it to really be worth the while. The Marines, where have they gone? The Marines have all now gone back home. Where is this Banshee? The Banshee now waiting for Cloak. The Cloak is about to complete. It should just go in and try to deal damage already as the robotics facility is nearing completion. One probe now down. A second probe may get taken down. There's a second probe. A third probe now already killed. 4 probes may get taken out, as well as Cloak should be completed. There you go. Cloak now completed. Observer not yet done, as the Banshee going to town on those probes, taking them down one at a time. The Observer at 35. How many kills already? Already up to 12. We'll see whether or not it will really be worth it. Yes, already getting up to 14 kills. Things are looking very, very good. An Observer now finally making its way over, and Polt's Banshee at 15 kills gets destroyed. There is still a Raven here. The Raven did not have enough energy for a point defense drone, unfortunately. Could have perhaps saved the Banshee. That Banshee getting 750 resources in terms of probe kills. But more importantly, it's going to really hurt Mana's economy. He's not going to be able to get nearly as many. But the Harvester count is just even. Mana sitting on 2 bases, now able to still catch back up and perhaps surpass his opponent in just a matter of seconds. We do have one Raven. We are going to have Marines. Marines will not have stim. The Banshee is out, and now here comes an all-in from Polt. Polt moving out with a whole bunch of SCVs. There's one proxy pylon here coming in from Mana. Is Tosh or Mana going to be able to really fend this off? The Stalkers are now making their way out, and this is bad news. The Banshee's going after the Banshee, taking a little bit of damage here. Stalkers are now perhaps going to retreat, not knowing how much damage is dealt. SCV quickly going to town onto that Banshee. The Banshee is now fully repaired once more, and the Stalkers engaging against SCVs. He knows that he needs to back off, and if Mana can hold off this attack, he will win, but the key question is, can he hold off the attack? We now see SCVs. There are Immortals and Zealots down over here. In comes the Banshee. There's the Force Fields. No, Siege Tanks now sieging up. Are the units going to engage from behind? Yes, there comes a Guardian Shield as well. Point defense drone in the front. Immortals trying to go after the Siege Tank. The Siege Tanks get taken down very quickly. The Immortals doing their job here, as the Banshees are now trying to finish off the rest of the units. Polt at 68 food. Marines unable to get inside. The Immortal still trying to deal more damage. But right now, Tosh is, or Mana is in trouble. 22 SCVs, 26 probes. Not enough units are going to be able to warp in. And Polt with the all-in, able to take the victory here. A 1-base all-in here on Shakura's Plateau. And Mana really needed to just shore up his defense just a bit more. He played well. He was able to get those force fields down, able to finish off those siege tanks, but the Marines, even without stim, dealing terrible, terrible damage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this best of 3 series between Mouse Sports' Mana and TSL Polt.